Welcome to a new podcast where we're breaking through and breaking it down with a new girl. Your host, Dawn Piercy. Welcome to Mariano Big Dog's Corner, exclusively here on a new podcast. I am your host, Dawn Piercy. Mariano could not be with us today due to his work schedule, but I have a very special guest for you, Matthias Hues. He has been acting since the 80s. He's from Germany. He's a martial artist, actor, writer, producer, and a bodybuilder. Matthias, welcome to Mariano Big Dog's Corner. How are you today?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely.
It's really a pleasure to finally talk to you. I know we've been going back and forth and in the world of time differences and different continents. You've been so patient. Thank you so much.
Well, absolutely. I'm
and Mariano is a great person. It's too bad he's not there talking to us because he's a total Hollywood insider, you know.
Yeah.
He should have a, yeah.
I'm just so excited to have you on as a guest. And yes, Mariano is so busy doing so many films, and I know you've got so many films going on at this time too, with being a writer and a director. And now, you were born in Waltrop, Germany, and you later moved to America to pursue your dreams, which have seemed to pan out quite well for you. Can you tell us about your journey here, how you got into martial arts, and of course, how you got started as an actor?
Yeah, good question. You know, everyone has a journey, and Los Angeles is full of people with hopes and dreams and journeys. And yeah, I actually was one of them long time ago in '86. So I must say that was my favorite time of the entire journey, was the beginning of the journey. Because when you're very young, you come to a new country. I thought I stepped into paradise. You know, white beaches, sand beaches. I mean, Venice, California, Gold's Gym, all the bodybuilders, Arnold, Sylvester Stallone, Hulk Hogan, you name it. Everyone was very concentrated in a small area, and you could just feel the energy of everything is possible and bigger is better and muscles and
right.
The 80s, you know. And I felt like I fit right in, you know, because I was also big and I was and no holds barred and no challenge too much. No matter what, I would say, oh, I'll do it, you know. It was a fantastic time. But remember, it was in the 80s, and there was less competition. There was less internet. There was less people trying out. Everything was less. It was a very small community of a very few people that were crazy enough to even come here, because it's not easy to become an actor regardless, you know. So yeah, that was the beginning of a journey, a wonderful journey, best time ever in my life.
Now,
I can tell.
I'm so glad that you did, because you've got some great movies. I know your first movie was No Surrender, No Retreat 2. Can you tell us, I heard from my research that you were in Gold's Gym and one of the actors didn't pan out and they were looking for a bodybuilder, and you were like, I'll do it, even though you had no acting experience at the time. How was that for you, jumping in there, not having that experience? And because you're great. It was like you were a natural.
Oh, well, it wasn't that easy, you know. I mean, it's... First off, you always say yes.
Right.
You never say no. I learned that really fast in America. You say yes to everything, and then you figure out how to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was Jean-Claude Van Damme. He was supposed to. He was the guy that just walked out of the set. From the set, you know, he had a big of a problem with the producer for whatever reason. I don't know, and they had to replace him really fast. And I didn't know Van Damme at that time. He was just someone that wasn't in the movie anymore because he left.
Right.
And, you know, they called all over every gym trying to find someone from Europe. And I just joined Gold's Gym. So I got really lucky because the manager said, oh, no, we got this guy. He just joined, you know. So maybe I should send him. And they sent me. And I was wearing my father's leather pants, you know, Bavarian leather pants, muscle shirt, long hair. And so I kind of stood out a little bit with cowboys. Really silly look, but... You know, the producer saw it walking, you know, when I was walking up from my car. Cadillac. And she said, "Oh, that's the guy, that's the guy." And the other producer said, "What, are you crazy? I mean, I don't look like Van Damme. I look like a wrestler or something, you know." And he didn't want to have me. And he says, "No way." And then I had to fight him. He was like a black belt in, I don't know in what, but Kung Fu, I think. Great fighter. Rai Horan, a real martial artist. He lived in China. He's a producer. And he said, "No, I don't want Matthias, you know, I want Van Damme." But Van Damme was gone. And she, who wrote the script and produced it, she said, "No, if it's him, if he's not doing it, no one will do it, you know." So I got the role. I flew there, and it wasn't easy. I mean, I couldn't speak English.
Right.
I had to kind of memorize these things, and they weren't very happy with me in the beginning, I can tell you that. But then it suddenly clicked,
Right.
because I thought it's do or die, you know, and I would have done anything, all my stunts, anything I had to do to impress them. You know, it's like, I just want, you know,
whatever you did worked.
Yeah, I just did it, and I loved it so much, and I thought, oh my God, this is great. I had no idea it's so much fun to beat each other, you know, to be out in the jungle shooting. It was a dream come true.
Now,
And I would have done anything at that point. You know, they would have said, "Jump from this building." I said, "Sure." Well, I would do it. When you're young, you can do it too. Trust me.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Who has been your greatest inspiration in being able to stay focused and keep pursuing your dreams?
It's a really interesting question. I never ever thought about anyone in particular. I never had an idol. Like I never looked at Schwarzenegger or Stallone like some. I never even had the time to think about that. It's like you're so busy. You set yourself the goal, and then you see Arnold, you see Stallone, you see Hulk Hogan, you see all these successful people. But if you think about them too much, you're not thinking about yourself. So I never wanted to be them. I admired them, and I was in awe of it. But I remember I stayed away from them. I didn't even want to be close to them. I was only focused on one way, and that's just straight ahead.
Right.
And you have to do so many things to get there that you cannot think about anyone. So I motivated myself with the bigger picture. I want to get, and I saw it, and I just went there. And then the rest just kind of happens, because you never know as an actor what's going to happen.
Right.
So it's like, so even if I say, "Oh, I want to be Arnold, I'm going to train, have these muscles and this and that," that's not enough. You have to do so many little things in order to become an actor. You have to do all the things right. And then one day you get a call, and then you have to walk in somewhere, and then there's a lot of people there, and you have to impress them so much with you,
Right.
not with your ideals of anything else, but with what you come in with. And then you got to get that job somehow. And these things come to you if, for some reason, all the things you've done the right steps. It's so weird. You just have to do so many little steps to finally get into somewhere.
Right.
Which means, you know, you got to train every day. You got to eat right. You have to get an agent, take pictures, crash auditions, go to auditions, take acting class, learn English, whatever. Get a job somewhere. Stay focused. Don't drink. Don't drive. I mean, just focus on your goals. You know?
Right. Now I'm aware that you have so far now been in over 70 film and credits. You have over 70 film credits right now from your acting projects, ranging from Conan to the Hitman Diaries, where you played Charlie Valentine, and your latest projects, in which include the new Puppet Master, The Littlest Reich, comes out in 2018. Can you tell us a little bit about that film?
Yeah, that's a really cool film. It's produced by Dawg, a producer from Houston, Texas, or Dallas. I think he's from Dallas. Dallas is from Texas. That's from Dallas. He's a really cool producer, and he has a great partner. His name is Greg Zahler, and they just produced a film with Mel Gibson, and before that with Vince Vaughn, and before that they did a Tomahawk. It's called Tomahawk something. With Kurt Russell. So they're entering the business really full force, and they just bought the Fangoria magazine.
Okay.
And yeah, that's a big magazine.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, and Dallas is a huge fan of these 80s, 90s horror movies.
Mm-hmm.
So they acquired the rights for Puppet Master, which was a cult hit, really.
Yeah.
And it was relatively cheap and this and that. So they decided they're going to take it and really amp it up, make it mainstream, and hire really cool actors. And it's a funny script. It's a great story. It really is an amazing story. And everyone's going to love it.
Oh, I
And
can't
they
wait
gave
to
me
see it.
a great little role in it. It's not the main lead because they had the idea about the character I should play a little bit later, but it's a very interesting character I'm playing. You'll see. Yeah.
Now you've got another movie set to release in 2018, Runestone. Can you tell our audience about that one?
We haven't filmed yet.
You haven't even filmed
No,
pre-production.
there's a couple projects that
Okay.
are on IMDb that are in pre-production or in early stages of development, and Runestone has not been finalized yet.
So our audience, you're gonna have to follow to keep up when these movies are coming out, and that's you know now I know that you are also in pre-production for a couple of films coming out next year already, The Devotion and The Rogue, which you probably can't even tell us anything about yet because of it being so far ahead.
It's really interesting. I can give you a really quick guide of when you look up actors and what they're going to do or what are they doing right now. So anything on IMDb, it's always easy to get there.
Yep.
You know, IMDb, then you punch in the actor's name, and anything that says pre-production or rumored or in development, you shouldn't pay too close attention to because they're all subject to change. Okay. So what happens is there are producers, they are planning to do a movie. So they have to put that on IMDb if they want to. And then they attach a lot of actors. Well, however they can do it. And then they are already posting it. And then it says pre-production. So, or development. But unless it says filming, or it's basically already the title and when it comes out, then I wouldn't pay too much attention to it because there's so many people trying to do so many movies. And then, like I said, they package it with the names. So yeah, be careful with pre-production. I would look at it and say, oh, that's interesting. They're doing this and that. Maybe, maybe not. People come and go in that particular area. So it's always interesting and exciting to be part of something new. And we all say, okay, if you get that, I'll be in it too. So this is kind of like how it is, you know.
Very nice.
Yeah.
So you actually, I'm going to go back to Germany real quick. When you were 19, you started in track and field. How did you get started in bodybuilding and martial arts?
Yeah, it's kind of like track and field. Goes hand in hand with bodybuilding because you know you do decathlon, pentathlon, all that stuff. So I sent you to the weight room, and I started when I was 15.
Okay.
But that's the time when you see those magazines, and I saw Arnold, you know, and Stallone, and all these people, and I thought, oh, they got great bodies. You know, I want to have a body like this. And it's going to help me doing my track and field work. So it's a combination of a must-do, plus that's in that age when you have your heroes, you look up to them and say, oh, I want to be just like this guy, or I want to look like that guy. That's that time of shaping. And then martial art is just that the basement was the workout room, and above it was martial arts. So you go, you know, you go from... You just make a roundhouse kick, so to speak. You just stop at every station and say, how you doing? How you doing? And then you do it. And then years go by, and that's how your base is like that.
Have you adapted a favorite style of martial arts over the years?
You know, I think you always have to kind of change with the styles that come and go. I've never been like the Van Damme guy because, you know, I can't keep my leg up that beautiful as he is or do the splits. So for me, it's more like The Rock or people in my category that are
Mm-hmm.
over 6'5". We have a bit of a different fighting style, like Dawg.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to do a new style eventually, more like the people did in The Raid.
Okay.
It was an action film, but it always depends the project and if we have enough time, if the
Right.
budget is good enough. Like Keanu Reeves, for instance, which I think is amazing. So when he did John Wick, he goes into a camp, and I mean, he works out for 6 months just for one movie prior to
Wow.
the movie, and that I would like to do. Yeah,
Okay.
that's like I would say yes, I do it right away. I'll don't take any work for 6 months. I'll just train for one movie, in order to come out with a movie that is really
Right.
pushing the envelope.
Okay.
Yeah.
For our audience that wants to follow you and keep up with everything you've got going on, where can they do so? I'm going to put in your on your bio page too as well, of course.
Cool. Yeah. I think the best is always social media.
Okay.
Uh, So IMDb, of course, yeah, boom,
Mhm.
boom. And then Twitter is good. We Twitter each other all the
Right.
time. Twitter I like because I met a lot of like-minded people like you
Mhm.
and other people in the business, and I meet a lot of fans, and I meet people that are really subject-oriented. So
Right.
action movies, genre movies, and they're all huddled in a small group.
Mhm.
And I like that group. I like to be part of that group. I like to be part of your group. You like to be part of my group. So
Yep.
we like each other because we have common interest, right?
Yep. Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
then, I mean, you have Facebook. Are you on Facebook?
Oh yeah, I am.
See, Facebook, Instagram. So those three venues where, let's say, oh, I have a new movie,
Uh-huh.
push, or I'm on location, push.
Right, right.
Can't always not You're not always allowed to do it, but most of the time you're allowed. My last project was I just shot a commercial there. I didn't do anything, but other than that, yeah,
Okay.
you know.
Well, I wanted to thank you for being a guest on Mariano Big Dog's Corner here on a new podcast. And
Thank you, Mariano. Thank you, Don.
thank
You guys,
you.
and I'm a big fan of Mariano. I have to send a shout out to Mariano because we work together,
Right.
and when we work together, we huddle together, we talk, we hang out. I really like him because he's real. He's a real man.
And
He's
positive.
self-made, and
Yeah.
he comes from a very difficult background.
Mhm.
You have to admire that. He gets himself up, fights against all the adversities. He stands up for people. He is a really true friend, and he's a warrior.
Yeah, he's a great guy, and I
Yeah.
absolutely love his wife Dawn. She's like a
Oh,
sister
me
to
too.
me. She's
So perfect.
awesome. She's so sweet.
You have the same vibe. You're just real, down to earth, a good person, good heart. I can
Oh,
see that.
thank
So,
you so
uh,
much. Thank
and I was
you.
very happy when you reached out. So this was great.
Uh,
Thank
th-
you too.
This has been a new podcast.